And a 13-year-old boy has drowned in an abandoned galamsey pit whilst trying to save his younger brother at the Patrinsa area close to Konongo in the Ashanti region. Residents say his death brings to 4 children who have drowned in the over 100 pits abandoned in the area in the last 3 years. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko has been to the community. Here's his report.
This stagnated pool you see behind me has claimed the lives of about 4 children within the past 3 years. This is as a result of mining that has stopped for over 8 years now. In fact, there are about 100 of these trenches covered dangerously with water.
The deceased, Emmanuel Abwaje, died trying to save his 9-year-old brother, Yao. His father saved him early enough, but lost the other brother. They told Love News what happened.
My brother, Abwaje, and I came here to fetch water. I tripped and fell into the water. He jumped in to save me, but I learned he drowned. He was not moving when I brought him out of the water. After rescuing him, I was told his senior brother, Abwaje, was also in the water, but I couldn't save him because I'm not a good swimmer. He was so weak when he was finally retrieved. I did not have any hope he was alive, though those around were saying he was still alive.
It took a number of local divers hours to rescue the boy, who died later on his way to the hospital. A member of the rescue team, Shadrach Ofori, said the people expected more from the police at Petrensa.
I'm very, very unhappy, all because when the incident happened, my brother-in-law went to the police station, at Petrensa police station, as a case. And we were expecting policemen or one of the policemen to come to the site where the incident was going. But from the time it was around 2 o'clock up to 5 o'clock, we did not see any policeman.
But the police at Petrensa say the people reported missing children, but they told them to conduct a search for them and report to the police later. The indigents are worried.
It was through the galamsey people who came here looking for gold, and they used that of the excavator, and they dig down, deeply down, and after they got their gold, they're supposed to level everything. They did not.
Our leaders should help cover these pits. The pits are scattered all around, and all of them have been claiming lives. If government will help us, we will be happy, because the pits are killing children. These pits are everywhere, all around.
So the death of this 13-year-old boy in an illegal mining pit has shocked the Petrensa community. Indeed, they are waiting for a solution, and the solution lies in reclaiming these lands to prevent such needless deaths. Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaridonko, Petrensa, Ashanti region.
Well, my colleague Erastus Asaridonko has done a number of work when it comes to this issue about galamsey mining, amongst others, and thankfully he joins us on the line with more on findings in this particular area and this development. Erastus, many thanks for your company. Rather devastating story there that you've had to cover. But let's talk about these abandoned pits. Let's start with that. We're told about 100 of them. What exactly is the situation, starting with Patrensa?
So this is an illegal mining site, and there is a stream called Oweri, which is close to this site. And so they were mining along the banks of the stream, and they dug many of these pits along the stream. But these have been abandoned for a very long time, and they are filled with water and weeds. And so it's an underlying danger for children and even adults who will want to tread that particular area. And I understand that this is the fourth child who has fallen into this pit in the past 3 years. And that's what is getting the indigents worried. So there are many of them scattered across the community, but they have been covered with weeds and other things. So if you do not know that there are pits there and you fall in, that is it. That's the end of you.
And have there been any plans of a sort to ensure that these pits are covered or anything of the sort? Have we spoken to authorities? What are they saying about it?
Well, in fact, there are no indications that reclamation will be done anytime soon, across that area. In fact, we are learning of government's plans to do reclamation, but on the ground, there are no signs at all of whether that reclamation will be done in the community, and even where it's supposed to happen. There is no talk of that within the local authority circles.
Well, so this is Patrinsa we're talking about, at least apart from this area. You've also done some extensive work in other areas. What's your findings, and which are these areas? I'm sure you'd want to walk us through them, and what you think ought to be done.
Well, so when you tour areas like Manso, where we have many of these pits abandoned over there, there are also death traps like that, and they have their own stories to tell about people who have fallen and died in these pits. In fact, when you go to areas like Manso, Tuntukrum, and its environs, this is a major threat to farming activities, for example, in those areas, because then farmers cannot cross some of these pits to their farms. You cannot build on any of these lands because there are pits, trenches, and other things in between. You cannot sell the land to anybody. And so these lands have become useless in these areas. You go to other areas like Tabostri and its environs, the Odahon forest. These are forest reserves that have been mined illegally for years. Pits and trenches are everywhere, uncovered. And so locals cannot use it for farming. You cannot use it for anything. It's a death trap to the people in there. So it will need a big plan to reclaim, an expensive plan, of course, because you will need bulldozers, equipment to go in there, and you will need to plant trees afterwards to remove some of the chemicals that have been infused into the soil.
Well, but just before I let you off, Erastus, this particular latest story that you've been reporting on involving this 13-year-old boy that drowned and wanting to save his little brother or sibling, I should say. What's the latest on it? We have an update. You've been interacting with family. What exactly have they been saying?
Well, so I had information that yesterday they went to dig a grave for the boy. They were expecting that the body will be released to them today to bury. As at the time I checked, he has not been buried yet. After this interview, I will check again to see if he has been buried. But basically, that's the end of it. The family are expecting that local authorities will come to their aid, at least try to fill some of these pits so that people can live in that area less dangerously. But then help is not coming from anywhere. And they are expecting that there will be a government plan or policy to do that.
Erastus Osari-Donkor, I'll leave it here for now. Many thanks for your company this afternoon. That's my colleague Erastus Osari-Donkor from Love FM bringing us details of that.